तो जब लोगों को लगता है कि मेरा इंडिविजुअल वेलफेयर मेरी कम्युनिटी के वेलफेयर के साथ कनेक्टेड है, तब you see this kind of transformation in mindset, and then of course in the actual actions that are taking place. So that's one crucial element.
Like public health in general is apart from all the other problems of low funding and no manpower and this and that and the other. So, there is no sort of system in place. So it has run on the belief that, a lot of people just take care of themselves. So if you can't take care of yourself, then they will think about, okay, we'll see what we can do. But it's mostly run on that belief that, things just work out on its own or something like that.
We have laws like, for example, Clinical Establishment Act, but hardly there is an implementation, because of which the private sector is growing and right now is responsible for more than 80% of the outpatient care and 60% of the IPD in care in our country. The other very important evidence is to say that 70% of health expenditure in this country is happening out of pocket. It's not insurance. People are spending from their pocket.
ASHA workers and sanitation workers, the Safai Karamcharis, they're part and parcel of the public health system as far as I'm concerned. Like sanitation workers, Safai Karamcharis, across the country, you have the system of contract that has been brought in. They don't get paid minimum wages, so on and so forth. So already in terms of a very exploitative, kind of system in which they're working. Because then this pandemic happens. The number of deaths of sanitation workers because basic safety equipment is not given to them. And here I think, essentially it's not just a class question, it is a question of caste and gender. It's about how seriously or, whether the government are even concerned about either of this. The way in which ASHA workers are treatment, it is outright a patriarchal, feudal mindset of these governments. There's no doubt about it.
Integrating gender in medical education. So one thing is that we need to start early, because their education only has so many biases engaged the women. For example, if you see malaria, the description of malaria that is given in the medical books, they say that this disease occurs in men because they work in fields, and so there is no talk about women, that what happens to the women. So I'm just saying the etiology of the disease is not discussed in among the women. The other example I would like to say is that whenever they describe that how heart attack manifest, they always give it's based on the evidence from how a male's body react. No one knows that how heart attacks takes place among females. This gender thing can't be a standalone project, because the knowledge can change with a 2-day training, but to change the attitude, it requires concerted efforts.
Even the other day, arguing this matter in the High Court on COVID, and I said that this thing, you can't make people stand in the queue every day for a meal. It's disrespectful of people. You're undermining their dignity. You have brought the lockdown on the people. These are the people who are not begging, they're not robbing. Every single day they work hard, they earn their living, and they, take care of their husbands and their wives. They're very, they're able to do that. You have taken away that ability from them, and now you expect them to stand in the damn queue. So just by giving rice and chana, felt like you're doing some great thing. That itself shows, the kind of lack of the disrespect and the lack of understanding of the realities of this.
To me, the most inspiring one in the last 25 years is Dalit Mahila Kisan Telangana ki. There's a group called Deccan Development Society. We have that also case in the documents. And they, for the last 1 year, they have been, of course, taking all the precautions and all of that. But what they've been telling us is that we have had absolutely no problem with food access, because we grow our own food, we use our own seeds, we use our own land, we use our own water, we use our own knowledge. We have no dependence for food on anybody outside. And what they call food sovereignty, Anna Swaraj. And there also what they emphasize very strongly, it's not private control. ये नहीं कि हर दलित महिला कह रही कि ये मेरा बीज है, but it's collective, it's a community resource, freely exchangeable, and collectively held.